What's going on, summoners, rifters, riftbounders? I don't know. Let me know what to call you down in the comments. But what's going on? I'm your boy Varney, and today the type of video I'm bringing you is a little bit more of a talking head video. I want to talk about some of the things that are going on in the game of Riftbound. I've been enjoying it, but there's some things that you should know. I take the inspiration for this series from my boy Mike, who is my co-host here on Mainface TCG. He does these sort of talking head videos for Gundam. Figured I would do one for Riftbound because there's some stuff that you should know if you're trying to get into this game. So I want to say that, like, right off the bat, my first impressions of this game are awesome. I played in the release event. I went to a locals on Monday. We started up a community marketplace Discord server, and all of that has been fantastic. The community is great. There's a lot of really cool people in it, and it's really crazy how big this has been right off the bat. I knew the League of Legends fandom was big, but I didn't realize how big it actually was. It's honestly kind of reminiscent of like early day Digimon. People were jumping into Digimon because they saw the gameplay of it and they thought it looked fun and cool. And so a lot of people, when Digimon first came out, because if you remember back during that time in 2020, it was basically the big three: Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, and Magic. Flesh and Blood was, I think they had just come out maybe like a year or two prior, but they weren't like big three in that way. So Digimon came out and was like, boom, big hype. Everybody's like, is this the next big thing? Obviously, it's not part of the big three, but it is consistently a top 10 trading card game, according to, what is it, the ICV2s, basically the hobby store tracking sale thing for North America. I don't know what other statistics they use to track, and obviously, you know, there's different feelings about it overseas, but in North America, it does very well. So I feel that kind of thing with Riftbound. People are jumping into it like myself, who have no knowledge of League. I've never played League in my life. I played Dota for like an hour with my friends because I knew they played Dota and I was interested in MOBAs, and I played it with them and I was like, yeah, I could never play this like by myself. I'm not that hardcore, but I enjoy Dota and I've always looked at League. I enjoy MOBAs. I play Pokemon Unite more often, if you can see back there. I am a Pokemon fan as well. So MOBAs are fun, and the one thing that I really enjoy about this card game, the best way that it was put by my LGS owner, is that it feels like it was a tabletop game, but it just so happens to be a trading card game, which is great, right? I think that's like a really big driving point for it. I don't know if this rumor is true. I heard that it was designed with multiplayer in mind first, and then it was adapted to 1v1. I don't know how true that is, but I can definitely say that multiplayer looks very fun. I haven't played it just yet, but it looks very fun. 1v1 is enjoyable. Sure, there are things that could be tweaked, but the game does play like it's a tabletop game, which is fantastic, I think, for just trying to draw on both a competitive audience who wants to delve into the game like myself and really like look at deck list and brew and build, but also a casual audience who just likes their favorite characters, whether it's Jinx or Victor or Leona or whoever. And that's awesome. I've really been enjoying that aspect of the game. But some of the problems that have been a really big thing, if you guys have played a Bandai card game before, it just feels like you're playing another Bandai card game, right? Because product is hard to come by, stuff is being scalped, it's like nowhere, the allocations are horrible. You know, this is basically insert Bandai card game here. Gundam all over again, Digimon all over again, One Piece all over again. I think Union Arena was probably the only one that didn't go through those problems. And personally, I think that's because Union Arena wasn't the nature of how these card games are, right? These are IPs. Digimon, One Piece. Digimon was during COVID, so let's say we give that a pass, but One Piece, Gundam, League of Legends. That's three equivalently big IPs in their own ways, in their own rights. So a lot of hype for it, and a lot of people wanting to play these games, but you can't get your hands on the product, which is tough. And what makes it even worse is Riot having pre-orders on their store. Fantastic, buy it straight from the manufacturer, or in this case, not necessarily manufacturer, but the, I guess, designer, the producer, developer of the game. But where are those pre-orders? People are complaining, rightfully so, because pre-orders haven't shipped out, and that's a really, really big problem. The fact that Riot's own store not only hasn't shipped out a lot of players' products, but also is not even acknowledging, like no acknowledgement of, hey, we know that we haven't shipped out the product, here's why, here's what happened, or here's what we're going to do. Like nothing, no communication at all is honestly crazy, right? Especially from a company as big as Riot. You expect them to be on the ball. You expect them to be like, all right, Riftbound's coming out, this is our game, we're going to be on top of it. But like none of that, right? And you have to really sit and wonder like what's happening behind the scenes, because as we all know, or some of you may not know, so I'll give you the knowledge, I guess the production, the manufacturing, and I believe part of the distribution, if not the entire distribution of Riftbound, is handled by UVS Games, who was formerly known as, was it Jasco? Before they were bought over by somebody, I can't remember, but they are now UVS Games, formerly Jasco. They make the Universes, the collectible card game. I don't know what the actual system is called, but you would think that for a company that is already doing it and has been doing it, because Universes has been a game for at least the last, I don't know, 15 years. It's not like it's a new trading card game, right? Like you would expect, and I can understand why Riot would have put their faith, time, money into UVS to do it, because you expect it to be done right. But when you have cards that come out of, number one, when you have cards that come out of your pack and they look like they were cut by somebody with an X-Acto knife, but the X-Acto blade wasn't that sharp. So you have these weird cut issues. When your Proving Ground champions just have freaking cuts across the card, that's a big issue. When your packs have collation issues, where you will have packs with one rare or possibly no rares or more rares than you should, like that's crazy, right? Not to mention then the allocation issues. They knew the hype of this game going into it. It's the same problem that I have with Bandai and Gundam. You know what the hype around this game is. There's no question about it, especially because this game was out in China before it came to North America. We had a player go over to China and compete in their events. George, if you guys didn't know. Like, the hype was there. There was an entire community following him while he was in China doing his thing. And this is what we're left with on launch. Products hard to come by, allocations were severely cut, we have collation issues, we have Riot store order issues, and we have cut issues. Those are no small thing by any means of the imagination, and it's crazy. One of the biggest things that's been said going around in my little communities that I'm a part of is, if this was an indie trading card game, it'd probably be DOA, which is unfortunately correct. You know, as a bigger company, they are, fortunately or unfortunately, given a longer leash. People are more willing to look past these issues because it's Riot and because it's League and because they're enjoying the game. And I do enjoy the game. I am, however, all that considered, blessed, because I didn't order any of my product from Riot. I said to myself, I'm not sure if I'm gonna get into this game. If my LGSs get the game, I'll try it out. And I was blessed in that both of my LGSs were able to support the game in some capacity, which is fantastic. There are stores around me that sold product at nowhere over MSRP. MSRP was the most I paid for anything, and that's fantastic. I can only appreciate every store that does that when the market prices are just all the way up there. It's why I always say support your LGSs even when things are tough, because if you support them, a good business will support you. If it wasn't for that, however, I would not be playing this game and I probably wouldn't be making this video, which is honestly really bad, and it sucks to hear, because there are, for as much as like people in my area have gotten to buy and play this game, there are tons of other people who haven't even gotten their product straight from Riot and who aren't able to play this game. And if this was an indie TCG, they would have just been like, all right, screw it. I'm just going back to Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic. The game does play freaking awesome, honestly. I know some people have their thoughts. I enjoy it as a person who plays many different card games as well as tabletop games. I really enjoy it, but these are no small issues, all things considered, you know? These are things that Riot definitely needs to improve upon if they want to have a long game going forward. Does that mean that UVS needs to be given a shorter leash? In my opinion, yes. Personally, I kind of expected Riot to put the time and money into doing it on their own. So, part of me is surprised that they went with UVS instead of doing it on their own. But you know what? They brought on UVS, whatever. These aren't issues. If I was, let's say I was Riot and I contracted UVS, I'd be super upset, especially because the samples that they got sent probably weren't this quality, They got to see the cards before they went out, and improve the cards. But for it to go into mass production, and you have collation issues, and you have cut issues, your proving ground champions are getting cut, and the distribution of the game is horrible, that's crazy. I want you guys to keep in mind that the pre-orders for this went up at least a couple months ago. So stores getting cut on allocation is the same problem that it is with Gundam. Pre-orders were in at least 3 months in advance. For Bandai, it's like 6 months in advance. I don't know when exactly it was for this game, but pre-orders went in at least 3 months prior to the game coming out. So for stores to get cut on allocation is actually horrible, because you should be fulfilling the demand. The stores are paying you money, so you should be fulfilling that demand. And if that demand is not being paid, where does that leave the game? Where does that leave the player base? So, lots of great things about this game. You can look forward to me covering it more on the channel, but these are things that we do need to keep in mind going forward and hope that they can be improved upon. If you guys like this video, please do drop a like, drop a comment, letting me know your thoughts about the entire situation. Where are areas of improvement that you see for both Riot and UVS to make, as well as what are you enjoying about the game currently? I know I am having a ton of fun, and I can't wait to bring you guys some more content. Thank you for watching. Make sure to also subscribe so that you know when future videos come out. And until I talk to you guys the next time, peace out.